Welcome to 21st Sports 2015 Season Preview for the Denver Broncos. We're going to go over the roster. We're also going to go over the regular season schedule and every single game in the regular season and make predictions for them. But let's start off with the roster. In under center, you got Peyton Manning, the Hall of Famer, one of the greatest quarterbacks ever to put on the cleats. But I tell you, Peyton, time has caught up to him. It's amazing that he was able to produce what he has produced over the last couple years after that injury. After that injury, he should have never played again. So for him to actually break Tom Brady's record like he did and even go to the Super Bowl 2 years ago, it's incredible accomplishments. He's a Hall of Famer, But eventually time catches up to all of us. That's the sad fact of life. And we saw last year in the second half how he was starting to finally show his age. And I really think, Peyton, it's over, I would like to be wrong. I hope I am. I hope he makes one last run. But from what I've seen, I gotta, admit what I see with my eyes. I can't just look at it through, the lens of the past and wish that he was the same Peyton that he was. Like I said, hey, if you want to think that, then why don't you just put Johnny on the field? John Elway, in my opinion, was the greatest quarterback, definitely top 5. And so, why isn't Elway out there? Well, age caught up to him eventually. Even the greatest, So, even though he's a Hall of Famer, time has finally caught up to him. And that's why it's going to be a long, rough year for Denver. I know everybody has them picked going really far, because for some reason just the mystique, and I understand that, because you never want to go against Peyton or pick against him until he's retired. But I almost feel like he should have just retired. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. I really do. But I just think he's not showing me that he is the same Peyton as he once was. He really wasn't last year. Look at the numbers. He did put up big numbers. He had 4,727 yards, 39 touchdowns. He had 15 interceptions. Compared to 39 touchdowns, 39 touchdowns is ridiculous. But a lot of that came, in the first half of the season. Down the stretch, you could see that he was struggling. He was fatigued. His arm just seemed to, go out on him. He might have had another 50 touchdowns if he had been playing the way he was throughout the first half of the year and even the first, 10, 12 games, whatever. But those last quarter of the season, last, 4 weeks, last month, it was like you could see it just something happened, or just, like I said, to me it just seemed like it was finally the beginning of the end. Sorry to say. Like I said, it's crazy to think, because he was one of the best quarterbacks number-wise regardless. And that's just how good Peyton is, because he is a genius. He's one of the smartest quarterbacks ever to play the game. He's brilliant. And I'm not trying to knock him in any way, shape, or form. I'm just saying what I see. That's all. That's how I got to call it. I got to be honest. And like I said, I hope I'm wrong. I really do. I really do hope I'm wrong. I like the Broncos. It's not like I don't like the Broncos. Not like I'm trying to pick against them for some reason. It's just what I see. It just on the end of last year and what I've seen so far. It's a small sample size in the preseason. In the preseason, I really don't put much stock in at all, because it means nothing. Hell, the other year the Redskins were 4-0 in the preseason and then went 3-13 in the regular season. So what does that mean? But what I do pay attention to in the preseason is individual performances, and just the way, in that limited, play that he had in the preseason, he was just not making any throws. He just didn't even look like Peyton. So that could just be, a little rust and a fluke thing, and it's the preseason, but, it shouldn't be like that. Of course, we'll find out real quick, right away. But let's go over the rest of the roster. In the backfield, you got C.J. Anderson, Ronnie Hillman. And C.J. can produce. He had 849 yards. He averaged 4.7 yards per carry. That's a good average for sure. And he had 8 touchdowns. And then, at receiver, you got Demaryius Thomas. Demaryius Thomas had a big season last year, 1,619 yards, 11 touchdowns. It's a monster season right there. It's huge, huge numbers. And Emmanuel Sanders, he had 1,400 yards, 1,404, and he had 9 touchdowns. So it's 20 combined touchdowns, and the two of them combined for 212 receptions, as they both had over 100 reception. I mean, that's like unheard of. I mean, it's happened, but that's just phenomenal. As Peyton, like I said, he's been just breaking all kinds of records in Denver over the last couple of years. So I mean, maybe I'm wrong. It's just what I see. I'm just telling you what I see. So we look. They do got Caldwell as well. He's talented too. And of course, Julius Thomas left, but they got Owen Daniels. He's not Julius, but he's a pretty good tight end. So, him and Peyton, if Peyton, is able to perform the way he has in the past, he could be hooking up with Owen Daniels, and Daniels could have a good year too. I just don't necessarily see that happening, sad to say. But we look at their defense. The defense actually is pretty good. You got a lot of stars on this defense. You got a couple new additions. Up front, Antonio Smith, the defensive end, is new. You got Malik Jackson on the other side, and Sylvester Williams at nose tackle. Then in the linebacking core, you got Von Miller. He's awesome, a great linebacker. And then you also got DeMarcus Ware, another great linebacker as well. I like Danny Trevathan a lot in the inside, and Brandon Marshall, very talented. A really, really solid linebacking core. One of the better linebacking cores in all of football. And then the secondary, Keith Talib, he's one of the best corners. Chris Harris Jr. is pretty good too. And the strong safety, David Bruton Jr., he's pretty solid as well. And then new addition at free safety, Darian Stewart. I believe he's in Baltimore. So, they got a pretty solid D, especially that linebacking core. A decent secondary there. And they're all right up front. The defense isn't really the question. I mean, they got a solid D. Their D, will take them far. And if Peyton could be Peyton, they will, be a winning team. I just don't think Peyton's Peyton anymore. Like I said, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I am. But special teams, the kicker, Brandon McManus. McManus is a good kicker, and Britton Colquitt, he's a pretty good punter as well. Returning the punts, you got Emmanuel Sanders, he's talented. And Omar Bolden and Andre Caldwell on kick returns. And Bolden, he could take it to the house. So he has potential to take it to the house anyway. So let's look at their regular season schedule and make our predictions for every game. And it starts off against Baltimore at home in Denver. And this is week 1, September 13th, 4:25 kickoff. And I believe they win this game. And then after that, it takes a turn for the worse. And Kubiak is the new head coach. It's interesting, too, because Kubiak, he actually used to back up Elway back in the day. He also was an assistant coach there as well. And then, he was with the Texans, and then he was a coordinator in Baltimore. Thinking the Texans, when he was in Texas, I mean, it was a rough year. He had some issues as well, so I'm not trying to dump on the guy. I actually like Gary Kubiak. I actually think that he could have some success in Denver as well. And if Peyton, if he's healthy, if his arm is still there, then they could have a really good year. But I don't think that's the case. And we saw in Texas with him at the helm, they lost 14 straight after going 2-0 to start the season. And right here, I think they start off 1-0 and then lose 15 straight. They lose the next 15 games. And without a quarterback, without Peyton really being able to put up the numbers and do what he used to do, if he ain't got an arm no more, then they're in big trouble. And it all starts week 2, September 17th, 8:25 kickoff, Thursday Night Football against their division rivals, the Chiefs, in Arrowhead. It's a tough place to win, always is. They play really tough there, and I believe they win that game. Like I said, I mean, you could turn off right now if you want to. I'm not trying to punish any Denver fans by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just telling it how I see it. I said, I hope I'm wrong, but this is just how I have it picked. Like I said, it's not like I don't like the Broncos or anything. It's just how I see it. So week 3, September 27th, Sunday Night Football. And it's, they get 10 days to prepare for this one, but they're going to be in Detroit against the Lions, and I believe the Lions take this game. Then week 4, October 4th, 4:25 kickoff. All these times are Eastern. even though Denver's in the Mountain Time zone. But they're going to be hosting the Vikings, and the Vikings, I think, are going to win this one. Although maybe Denver actually could beat the Vikings. It's possible. So Week 5, October 11th, 4:25. They're going to be in Oakland against the Raiders. I believe the Raiders will take this game. I think the Raiders are going to be challenging for the division this year. It'll be coming down to the Chiefs, Chargers, and the Raiders, with the Broncos having fallen off as, Peyton just ain't Peyton no more. So Week 6, October 18th, and it's in Cleveland against the Browns. This game, maybe they could beat the Browns, but it's in Cleveland, I got the Browns. So then that's their bye week. Week 7 is the bye week. And then they're on prime time. It's Week 8, November 1st, against the Packers. It's in Denver, though, but I believe the Packers are going to come in there. They're going to beat them up pretty bad. It's going to be sad. So then Week 9, November 8th, 4:25, they're going to Indianapolis to face the Colts. And this is a tough stretch right here where they got the Packers, Colts, and the Chiefs. This is the only road game out of that 3-game stretch. I believe the Colts win. So Week 10, November 15th, they're going to host the Chiefs the second time they face the Chiefs this season. I believe the Chiefs sweep the season series. The Broncos have done to them in the past. But now it's the Chiefs' time, and they're coming up. The Chiefs were on the verge of taking over this division the last couple years, but Peyton had been beating them down, and now they finally return the favor. So in Week 11, November 22nd, 1 o'clock kickoff, they're going to be in Chicago against the Bears, and I believe the Bears win that game. Does that mean that Peyton just won't be able to do it? At this point, I don't wonder, are they going to have Osweiler in there? I don't know. So I could be totally wrong. Maybe I'm crazy, you know what I mean? But it's just, I'm not the only one who's seen this. Not a lot of people. A lot of people are picking Denver even, to go real far. But I can understand if Peyton puts up numbers like he has the last couple of years, that would make sense. But anyway, Week 12, it's going to be Brady versus Manning once again. And it's going to be on Sunday Night Football. Huge game. 8:30 kickoff. It's in Denver, but it won't matter. The Patriots going to beat them, and the losing streak is going to continue. Then Week 13, December 6th, in San Diego against the Chargers, their division rivals. First time they face the Chargers all the way in Week 13, and the Chargers win this one. Then in Week 14, December 13th, they're going to be hosting the Raiders. They have a chance here, but I got the Raiders, and the Raiders sweep the season series. I think they're going to go 0-6 in the division, actually. I think all 3 teams are going to sweep them. And it's a tough division. It really is. So then Week 15, December 20th, they're going to be going to Pittsburgh, and I think the Steelers win this one. And then Week 16, December 28th, Monday Night Football, they're going to be hosting the Bengals, and the Bengals are one of the toughest teams in the AFC. It's a tough way to end the season, too, at Pittsburgh. And then even though 2 home games, you got Bengals, and then in Week 17, the Chargers. And the Chargers finish the sweep, and they end it, and that's 15 in a row that they're going to lose to end the season. Now, I could be wrong. I very likely could be wrong. I mean, that's kind of totally insane. I'm jumping out the window here. But it's a prediction I'm making. Let me know what you think in the comments section below. Whether you agree or disagree, I find it hard to believe that anyone would agree with me. Maybe there are some people out there who see what I've seen as well. And you say, I know that there's at least 1 or 2 other people that see this, even though I know that the vast majority of people, 95% of people, think that Peyton is still Peyton and he's going to have a big year. So we'll see who's right about that. And I say, I hope I'm wrong. But let me know what you think in the comments section below. What do you think about the roster? What do you think about the schedule? What do you think about our predictions? And where do you have the Broncos going? A lot of people actually have them win the division. So I have them 1-15. So we shall see. So we'll find out pretty quick, because maybe they start 4-0 and then it's I look like a jackass. But I don't see that happening. But thank you very much for listening. It is greatly appreciated. I hope you're having a good day, and have a great weekend, and enjoy all the sports.